Howdy-ho, Andrew, aka Kalfear here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to another episode of Hilarious Gaming Stories. So we're going to lighten up the load here this week after last week's depressing, horrific story. I don't like exploits. Okay, I'm going to be very honest. I don't exploit, ever. I don't like exploit, I don't like exploiting bugs, and I never hack. If I can't win legit, I don't want to win. It's as simple as that. My ego can take losing. So I know there's a lot of people out there online that they cannot handle losing. But this was like I said, Ultima Online had some of the worst exploiting I had ever seen in all my years of gaming, before or after. One of the funniest exploits I ever heard of, though. I told you that the lag in Atlantic server was so bad that I had to transfer half my guild over to the Baja server. The people that left, or stayed, I should say, on the Atlantic servers, though, they created their own guild called Darkenbane. And it was ran by a guy I knew from Neverwinter Nights, and I knew he was an exploiter, a hacker. He had been caught cheating in Neverwinter Nights on AOL and kicked out of the guild I was in on Neverwinter Nights AOL. And I wasn't really surprised to hear this story revolving about him. But PKing, player killing, was a big activity in Ultima Online because there was no rules against it. There was no guards protecting you. Anyway, this guild on Atlantic Canada, I heard this story secondhand, but they got in a bit of trouble because they weren't the PvP gods that they like to believe they were. So they came up with an exploit. Because when you died in Ultima Online, your body died on the ground, as I told you in a previous video, and your goods stayed on there. Now, the person that killed you could loot your body, so your goods were gone. Gray and them, this was happening to them. They were losing goods. So what they came up with was an idea that they were going to naked PvP. In other words, they stripped down to their skivvies and they had like a cheap sword or something that could be easily replaced in anywhere. And they would go out and there would be like 12 or 13 of them would go out and they would jump solo players and they'd whack them down. They'd steal all their goods and they'd run off. And if they happened to die, well, so be it. They were naked. They're a roaming band of naked marauders. One-on-one, they couldn't beat an armed character, obviously, or a magical user or something. But 13 or 14 characters zerging, somebody's going to come out of that fight alive because it's just the numbers game.